Health and Wellness Center, and this is Life with Jason Clemmons, DC, right here on Friday, April 5th, coming to you live from Lubbock, Texas at the Rock Health and Wellness Center studios and on the radio at 98.7 Walk by Faith and 1420 AM Lubbock Christian Nation. It has been a fantastic week at the Rock, and it's a beautiful day in Lubbock, and I hope all you guys have had a great week as well. And we've had some good shows, we've had some good comments, and some good text. If you guys want to text us, send us a text. 806-794-0400 is our text line. 806-794-0400. Said that. I've been saying that for about 24 years now. It was the same number of my brother-in-law's office that we ended up buying, and we kept the number. We've had it forever. So it just tripped up right there. It's hard. Sometimes a guy doesn't get it's like trying to get multitasking. That's what it is. And then, of course, you guys know, I put these glasses on and my whole brain shuts off and all that sort of thing. So, man, I think we got a fun show for you tonight. At least I'm going to try to have as much fun as I can talking to you tonight. So I hope you guys will enjoy it as much as I enjoy it. Because all I'm going to do, I'm just going to talk about the love of chiropractic and the love of health and the love of people, and talk to you about the people, the kind of people that come to the office. And because I think maybe I had a guy come in today. He was a new patient, and he made a comment. He's like, I said, "What else is going on with you?" He said, "Well, I got this, but you can't do anything about that." And I was like, "Okay," and we'll get into that and about what that was a little bit later. But I thought, you know what? I don't know if everybody knows what we do. Like, what can a chiropractor do for you, and what can a wellness chiropractor do for you? Not all chiropractors, but what can a wellness chiropractor do for you? Because it is the foundation of wellness. I think it's one of the greatest professions for creating wellness. We do nutrition, we do fitness, we do neurology. We've got the whole package, right? We got our spiritual life covered. It's just a whole package of what we do, and I'm so excited about getting to do it. I just love it, and I love the people that I get to take care of. And I just was thinking about that after that new patient today. I just thought, I wonder how many people walk around thinking about things and they don't even realize that there's help out there for them. And so I thought we'd get into that tonight. So I actually need to fix the title of this show on the social media. Yeah. Okay. So I might change that again here in a minute. But so let's talk about supplements, and we've been doing standard process stuff, and I've got some standard process here on the table tonight. But I thought I would just share with you some of the brands that we use in supplements, because that's a big deal. We're putting together our own brand, and because I want the flexibility to be able to talk about it on the radio and be able and not to be handcuffed with the brands themselves. And I understand why the other brands do that, but I want to be able to bring you information about nutrition that I don't have any restrictions on. And so that's why we're creating our brand. I can also I can control the price of this brand a little bit better than I can control the price on some of the other brands. And I make really very little money overall in a year on supplements. I don't have a supplement practice. You guys might think I do, and you might wonder why when I bring it to you every week or every night that I'll tell you about therock.standardprocess.com. Look, would I love for the whole world to buy products from therock.standardprocess.com? Of course I would. Would I make money from doing that? Of course I would. I make a little bit of money from that, but that's not the point of why I do it. Why I do it is because I believe in standard process, but I also believe in some other companies, and I thought I would just share some of those with you instead of having one specific supplement that we talk about. Because you might wonder, you might wonder, like, okay, well, I just get my supplements at Costco, or I just get my supplements at Walmart. I hear that all the time. I just get my supplements at Walmart, and it, you really got to think about that. If you're really trying to be healthy, you might want to consider that a little bit. You might want to say, hey, look, okay, because some people will argue, there's those old crotchety people, and they'll just argue it's like, oh, you don't have to pay that money for that high dollar. Some people say that supplements are worthless anyway. I disagree with those people. Then some people say, well, it doesn't make any difference where you get it, or because it all comes from the same place anyway. And there may be some truth to that. But what we try to do is we try to study the companies a little bit to make sure that whatever it is that they have is sourced properly, is created properly, and that there's nobody, I don't think anybody in any of the supplement industry, um, anywhere, that beats standard process. I think the standard process stuff, is organic. It comes from that 900-acre farm. It's been in the family for 100 years. The place is immaculate. It's been tried and tried and tried and true. It's used by millions of people across the United States. It's a good, solid company, and that's the first one. The standard process. Standard process is one that we use. This one happens to be Children's Immune. So everyday support with elderberry and some different things right here for your child. So vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, a couple of other things: organic strawberry fruit powder, organic elderberry fruit powder, organic guar fiber, organic beetroot, and monk fruit extract. So this is something for the immune system for the kids. Really, that vitamin D and that vitamin C, the biggest part, and that zinc. So, but standard process. I love this company. I talk about them all the time. You guys know that I talk about them all the time. If you need a good quality product, you can count on standard process. That is that's a fact. The fish oils, which I love, I pick the two that I use is, if for the liquid, I use Nordic Naturals because of the volume of the EPA and the DHA. And if you go back last night and we listened to Dr. Ames, Bruce Ames, and who's 95 years old and one of the most studied and cited people in the history of mankind when it comes to nutrition and all that, the supplements and everything. One of the things that was vitally important to your health is EPA and DHA. And that's something that I think is super important too. And so what we try to do is we want your EPA and your DHA to be in a 2-to-1 ratio. So EPA on top, twice as much as your DHA, and we try to get your DHA to 1,000. That's our goal. That's what we're trying to do. So the reason I picked this liquid fish oil and I use Nordic Naturals is because I believe Nordic Naturals is a stand-up company, and I also know that it gives me 1 teaspoon gives me 975 milligrams of DHA. So that almost gets me to where I want to go. And then the EPA is 1950. And I believe that 1950. That is a 2-to-1 ratio. So EPA is 1950 milligrams, DHA is 975 milligrams, and so that's in a 2-to-1 ratio, and it gets me to DHA to 1,000. So for a baseline, for someone that just needed a baseline, 1 teaspoon of this is fantastic. The reason that I use it and the reason I keep it is because sometimes I want to get way above that. And so in order to get way above that, I will use the Nordic Naturals in the liquid because now I can take 3 teaspoons just like that. And whatever this is 2925, I believe, is what this is. Yeah, 2925. So it's just 75 milligrams off of 3,000. So I could take 3 teaspoons of this and get to 9,000 milligrams almost really quickly, right? So that's why I like that. The other one I use, and you guys know this, is the Natural Factors. We use Natural Factors, and Natural Factors company-wide may or may not be, I don't know them well enough. I'm not saying anything bad about them. They may not be, I don't have as much confidence, I should say, as I do in standard process and in Nordic Naturals. But what I do like about it is it's a 2-to-1 ratio. Um, well, almost a 2-to-1 ratio in theirs. And I can get, for two soft gels, I can get 670 milligrams of fish oil, of DHA. So I get 19, I get 2,030 milligrams with 2 soft gels. So I could take 3 soft gels and pretty much get me to where I'm trying to get to right there. That takes me over the 3,000 milligrams for the baseline, and it gives me that relatively close 2-to-1 ratio. They changed the formula just recently, and it's just barely off. 12, it'd be 1240, it'd be 1340, and it's 1360. So it's 20 milligrams higher than a 2-to-1 ratio, but that's pretty dang close. And so that's what we do with natural factors. And we've got several. I take this N-acetylcysteine. That's a precursor for glutathione. I take it every single day. And it's a natural factors that I use as well. Those are the fish oils. The next one that we use is orthomolecular. And this one is newer to my office, but we've got lots of products from orthomolecular. You can look them up, ORTHO molecular products, and you can order them all kinds of different places. You can order them from, but you can get them from us if you want them. But orthomolecular is something. This is DHIST. Just happens to be you guys have allergies or something. This works really well for people who are dealing with allergies, and it's just stinging nettle, bromelain, N-acetylcysteine, and quercetin dehydrate with vitamin C. So it's just natural stuff. But I got this company from our friend up in Ruidoso, Dr. Fraley. Talked about orthomolecular. So we've got lots of orthomolecular stuff here in the office. Here's a DHIST Junior for the kids, and it's 60 chewable tablets. So I've got lots of kids that they use the DHIST Junior, but that's the orthomolecular stuff. And then the last one, I believe, is Metagenics. If you guys don't know about Metagenics, that's the company we use. You can get these on Amazon. A lot of the stuff, Metagenics, just happens to be zinc that we have in the office. And so Metagenics and Standard Process are the two companies that we learned from when we were in chiropractic school, where we started our symptom surveys way back 20 years ago, 22 years ago when I was in chiropractic school. We would use both of these companies. Dr. Guest, you've heard me talk about Dr. Guest lots of times. He's my nutrition teacher in chiropractic school. Dr. Guest was great with helping us with all this, running through the Standard Process stuff. They have lots of tools for us. So we use it as part of our nutritional program. We use a heart sound recorder, which was created by the founder, Royal Lee, of Standard Process. And so we use that with the heart rate variability, our omega-6/3 test, our in-body scan, our questionnaires that we use. We use all that together in our nutritional program, and then there's some guides to kind of tell us what supplements a person might be deficient in. My friends over in Roswell and my friends in Ruidoso, they can do some muscle testing. They've gotten into that. That's something that I'm probably going to have to work on here pretty soon. But that I use the guides, the questionnaires, and the heart rate variability and the heart sound recorder to kind of let me know what's going on with your nutrition. It's really interesting. That heart sound recorder, it's putting a stethoscope on your heart and putting that stethoscope on your heart and then turning it into a graph like you would get from an EKG. And I know you guys have heard the EKG before, or seen an EKG, the little graph of your heart, like you've seen it in the hospital or whatever. You guys know what that looks like. Well, that's what we get when we do the sound. We get the same exact thing, but from a sound standpoint. And it'll give us quite good information about some supplements that are vitamins and minerals that you might be deficient on. And as boring as last night's show might have been, go back and listen to it again. Yeah, go back and listen to it again. No matter how boring it was. But I was trying to get to the point where vitamin and minerals are vital to either short-term proteins or long-term proteins, right? If you're short in them, if you don't have enough vitamins and minerals, you're just gonna be in short term. You're gonna be making short term proteins. You're not going to be making long term proteins if you don't have enough vitamins and minerals. So uh, that's that's a big deal. That's what we do. We can take the heart sound recorder. We can see what your heart looks like, and it'll tell us, hey, look, that's not your heart valves are not closing properly. You may be short. You may be deficient in B vitamins or something like that. And that kind of directs us in the direction to go. So those are the big companies: Standard Process, Nordic Naturals, Natural Factors, Metagenics, and Orthomolecular. Those are the big ones that we have here in the office. We work really closely with several people. We work, Brett over at Nature's Tonic here in Lubbock. You guys know that I've said it lots of times. Uh, Super guy, great store. They got to do a good job. The people over at Drug Emporium, they've created Vitamin Plus or Vitamin World in there. Vitamin Plus, I think it is, inside Drug Emporium. They've got a lot of the same stuff. They've got a lot. They've made a big effort to try to provide for the community. And then Brenda Garcia over at United Grocery Stores does a great job as well, setting up. I heard a commercial for United Grocery Stores on the radio right before we started the show, and I was like, "Hey, that's cool. They got a commercial going with United." Well, Brenda's great over there. She keeps if you're living in Lubbock, she keeps all the United Grocery Stores stocked with some good stuff. You can get all the same stuff. You get most of the same stuff. I don't know if you can get orthomolecular over there, but you can get these. The thing about it is, it's the ratios and the volume that really get into nutrition from a supplement standpoint. The ratios and the volume. That's the thing you really got to look at. Is you got to look at the ratios and the volume. And because I go into all the places. I'll go to the grocery store. I'll go to the other nutrition stores, and I'll sit there and stand in front of I'll go to Sprouts, or I'll go to Natural Grocers, or I'll go to any of these places, United, HEB, all these places that we have here in Lubbock, and I'll just stand there and look at all their fish oils, and it amazes me, really. It really does amaze me how many different um, ratios we've got, how many different formulas there are, and how many of them are so low in their numbers. And I think I was looking at an article with the longevity supplements. NutriWest is another company that we use as well. I just didn't have any NutriWest with me, but that's where Dr. Murphy, the guy that teaches me all about nutrition, Dr. Murphy is hooked up with NutriWest, and so some of the things that a multivitamin, these are longevity supplements for him. A multivitamin, omega-3 fatty acids, and he says it right here: an ideal ratio of ALA, EPA, DHA, and GLA. EPA should be double DHA, 3,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA per day. And that's where I got it from. I got it from Dan Murphy. He's maybe the number one studied human being that I've ever met. So he's read more articles. All these articles that I get from you is a subscription that I have that Dan does. He does all the work for us. He works tirelessly. 50, 52 weeks, 51, 50 weekends a year, he's teaching somewhere. And he'll give us all these reviews, and he breaks them all down for us and then archives them. I've got them all the way back to 2000, and he does, I don't know how many there is in a year, but he'll probably do once a week or close to it. And so he's got all the different kinds of things there. But so there's a multivitamin, omega-3s, omega-3 antioxidants. That's something is cofactors. It's what they have with NutriWest. Vitamin D, infants, 400 IUs per day for infants. Pre-puberty, 2,500 IUs per day for children. Adults, 5,000 IUs per day. Recommendation. Magnesium, 300 milligrams of magnesium. That's also the one that he has also contains taurine, and that's one of the things that Dr. Ames talked about yesterday. Vitamin K 2-4 and vitamin K 2-7. Those are things that are part of it. CoQ10 and that PQQ. I tried to pronounce that last night. Pyrroloquinoline. Nope, I didn't do it again. PQQ, those two, CoQ10 and PQQ, and mitochondrial health. Acetyl L-carnitine, alpha lipoic acid, CoQ10 put together, and then choline enhancement is what he's got together there. So just you guys that are interested, if you want to know about that, I just thought I'd share that with you from what we were talking about last night. So those are the supplements. So let's talk about what kind of people. I just went back. What I did is I went back for the last 2 weeks, and I went in and I went through all the people that I saw over the last 2 weeks, and I was just like, man, what kind of things do I deal with on a daily basis at the Rock? Like what kind of people? How old are these people? Well, the oldest person I adjusted in the last 2 weeks is 90 years old. And the youngest person I adjusted in the last 2 weeks, I didn't get it's probably 6 or 8 months old, I think. 6 or 8 months old. I know I had several 4-year-olds, but I just remembered I adjusted one that was younger than that. So we've got 84, 81, 90. Those are some 80, 84, 85. Got 2 of those that I adjusted. So we got old people in their 80s and 90s that get adjusted. We got young people. As my 7 hours old is the youngest one I've ever adjusted, but youngsters, just a few months old that we have, and we've got the whole gamut of everything in between. So we've got high school students, we got elementary schools. I've got first graders. I've got fourth graders. I've got elementary school students. I've got junior high school students. I've got high school students. I've got college students. I've got high school athletes. I've got college athletes. I've got retired college athletes. It spans the whole thing. We've got business owners, computer people, teachers, nurses, doctors, administrators in hospitals, retired people, coaches, the high school athletes, college athletes, police officers, college students. It spans the whole spectrum. We got them all. We got super fit people. We've got moderately fit people, and we've got absolutely no fit people. We've got very healthy people that come in. We've got healthy, very athletic, middle-aged people, 52-year-old women that are in great shape, 52, 53-year-old men that are in great shape. We've got 50-year-old people that are in really bad shape. We've got 20-year-old people that are in really bad shape. So when you wonder, it's like, well, is it for me? And the answer to that question is yes, it's for you. Because you have a nervous system, because you have a brain, and the brain controls everything. And that brain is needing to be fired in a certain pattern, in a certain way, and it's super important that brain works like it's supposed to work. And if that brain's not working like it's supposed to work, then you will decay into sickness and disease, and then eventually it'll get you. And so those are the kinds of, or the ages of people, and just some of them. I didn't get them all because I couldn't go through and get all of the professions that we have. We have salesmen that travel all the time. We've got executives in big companies that come here. I've got farmers. I got lots of guys that ride tractors. I adjusted one of those guys today. He was all jacked up, and he was telling me about. He's like, man, if I used to have a neighbor who was an old horse trainer, and he could get me some DMSO, and man, I would just rub that in there, and usually that could get me by. And he said, and if that didn't work, I would use some tequila with lime and the DMSO. And I thought to myself, well, okay. I was like, and I told him, I said, well, I grew up on a horse ranch and we trained race horses, and I can honestly tell you, I never one time thought about using DMSO for myself. I don't really think that's something that I would be interested in doing. Matter of fact, we used to wear gloves. I don't know if you guys have ever messed with that stuff, but we used to wear gloves on the ranch, and we'd make sure that we had our gloves on, and to make sure we didn't get that DMSO on our hands. And I know I'll probably get some comments. I'll probably get a text from somebody that says, "Hey, oh yeah, we use DMSO all the time." No, not me. I'm not using it. I'm not using it on myself. I'll use it on my horses, but I'm not going to use it on myself. So, hey, you guys stick around. We got to take a break. We'll be right back with Life with Jason Clemmons, DC, right after these messages. Yeah, he's been on his sprayer, is what he told me. He's been out there on the farm and been on his sprayer, and he said it's just and last time I saw him was in 2021. That's how long it's been. So it's been 3 years almost. I think it was June, but it's been 3 years since I've seen him, and that's the only time I get to see him is when he's really jacked up. He's like limping in here, and it's like, man. I told him, I said, man, working on you is an interesting experience because I never know what I'm going to get. I have no idea if I'm going to help you or not help you. But he's pretty happy when he left. He's like, hey, that's much better. It got me unkinked. And so I hope it did. I hope it helped him out. But that's just, I've got that guy that I see once every 3 years or something. And then I've got people that I see every single week for 10 years. And so we've got from a frequency standpoint, we got them on both ends of the spectrum. And the ones I can tell you, the ones that I see on a weekly basis are the ones that are rocking life. The ones that I see once a week or once every 2 weeks, maybe once every 3 weeks. And really, but in order to start to develop scar tissue, like if you were to take a fall, or you were to lift something wrong, or you were to have some sort of micro tear, like you could lift something and you get that pain right between your shoulder blades, it kind of sets you off. Or Leslie was doing, she was doing burpees last week, and hurt her low back doing burpees, and because she got a little bit cocky. It wasn't because she was doing burpees. It was because she got a little bit cocky, feeling good about herself, and she started jumping down and jumping up, and that's not the kind of burpees we do at the Rock Health and Wellness Center. And it only took about 2 sets, and then she jacked something up. Hang on one sec. Okay, we're back. This is Jason Clemmons, and you're listening to Life with Jason Clemmons, DC. And so we are going to stay after it. I'm going to switch this out. I'm going to make sure that you guys can hear me, but I think my battery went dead on my headset here, so give me 1 second. But we got a backup, so we're in good shape with that. 1, 2, 3. You guys can hear that? Hope. And let me turn that up for you. There we go. Maybe that's better. You can hear that a little bit better. Okay. Yeah. Now, so we got it. Now we're turned up. You should be hearing that fine. So let's talk about some specific. We talked about the kinds of people, right? And the kind of people is you. if you're out there and you want some help being healthier, and you want and you fit the category, we take you at the Rock Health and Wellness Center. We take you. We take you from newborn. We take you all the way through. We take care of pregnant moms. We got several of them right now that we're taking care of, and so we got the whole gamut of people. Now let's talk about some of the conditions that these people have. So I just kind of went through some of the people and just kind of wrote down some things, and I just wanted to share with you some of these things because might not understand. You might be scared about it, right? You might be worried about, like, oh no, I don't think I could do that because I've got this problem. Well, first one on my list is this lady that comes to see me. She has 2/3 of her lung missing, got a big old scar on her back. She had some sort of cancer or tumor or something, and she's got that lung problem, um, and we have to be careful with that, right? So she's doing great. We adjust her. We watch out for with what she's got going on. We be careful with her ribs. We know all of those tender areas that she has, but we're still going to take care of her and work on her. Got POTS. I think I mentioned that to you. Positional orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, where you stand up and all of a sudden your heart rate jumps 30 beats per second. Per minute. If it jumps 30 beats per second, you're going to probably be in trouble. But at 30 beats per minute, that's something. Vertigo. Got a new vertigo patient last week. I really think we had some crystals in the ears. We did the Epley maneuver. We did a modified Epley maneuver first, and then we did the Epley maneuver, and she was having a really tough day, and she'd gone shopping. She shopped all morning long, and she went and ate lunch, and then as soon as she ate lunch, all of a sudden it hit her, and she's about to throw up. She didn't know if she's going to make it home, one of those deals. And I think she was with her daughter or whatever, and they got her home, and then I saw her that afternoon, and then I checked on her that night after we worked on her, and I said, "How you doing tonight?" She said, "I'm doing great. I went for a walk." So that's how quickly that went away. That little episode that she had just got that Epley maneuver done for her. Worked on her eyes, did some brain stuff, worked her vestibular system a little bit, and got her back on her feet and got her going. So a lot of people they don't quite understand. They don't quite understand the differences. We've got some technology here in the office to try to make sure that when you come in that we can address whatever your problem is. And one of the things is a balance plate. And I didn't even have to use the balance plate with her on her first day because she was really struggling. I could just stand her there on the floor and then work through the canals of the vestibular system, work through the 3 canals on each side, and you could tell I turned her head and I leaned her back on the right side, and then boy, all of a sudden she just lost her balance and started swaying back and forth, and I was like, yeah, we're gonna work on that first. And so we worked on that, and then the next time we did that Epley maneuver, and so far she's doing good. So got some kids on the autism spectrum. They've been diagnosed at some point or another. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if that is one of those kind of catch-all terms. I understand autism is a really challenging thing for a kid, and I totally understand that. I'm not saying that whatsoever, but we got some autism spectrum kids that really need to move their feet. And man, I had a great night last night because I was talking about feet, moving your feet, got to get on your feet, got to move your feet, and it reminded me of a horse trainer that I watched several years back. His name's Clinton Anderson, and he used to live in Stephenville, and I don't know where he lives now, or if he used to have a big ranch. He's an Australian guy. And if you guys want to understand what I'm talking about from a neurological standpoint with a human being, you should go watch Clinton Anderson train horses, especially if you get them close to. There's one of them, and he's got a ton of videos, but there's one of them that was having trouble getting in a trailer, and once they get it in the trailer, and that horse would want to come back, like that, throw a fit inside the trailer. And we've had that happen on the ranch before. We had a mare one time pull the whole front end of a 2-horse trailer in. that was before we knew what was going on. That was back in the old days. That was the very first time we tried to load one. I wasn't there. My dad loaded it, tied her into the front. First thing she did is wrap that lead rope around my mom's hand, broke my mom's hand. And he ran the lead rope through the front of the trailer, and he was going to get behind and get her in the trailer. And it was a mess. She wasn't going in that trailer. And then he tied the lead rope onto the front of the trailer, and when she went backwards, she just pulled the whole front end of that trailer. She pulled the whole front end of that trailer in. She was feisty, but she was a great mare, and she bred and she produced some good babies too. They were some running dudes, all heart. But Clinton Anderson will show you. He'll show you. He's like, one of the things that he has to do when he's training horses is he's got to get their feet moving. He says forward and backward and right and left. I got to get their feet moving. I got to get them. I got to get them out of the threat part of their brain into the thinking part of their brain. And it's so cool the way he says that. One side of their brain, and the master and his emissary says the same exact thing. A horse will look at you, I think, out of his right eye when he's looking for threat. And Clinton Anderson's saying that same thing. He's like, look, when a horse is wanting to act up, they're in the wrong side of their brain, and you got to get their feet moving in order to get them out of that side of their brain. And he just does it right there. He took that same mare that was having trouble loading in the gate in the trailer, and he just started moving her feet. He just started making her go back and forth, right? Just go back and forth, and he'd turn her this way, and he just kept his feet still, and then he just turned her back and forth, and then just back and forth, right in front of him. And then he would get her to walk between him and the trailer and back and forth. And then he'd get a little bit closer. Then he'd get a little bit closer. And then he would move all the way around to the side of the trailer. And then he'd walk back and forth, and he'd move to the other side. It was magnificent. I mean, it was magnificent because it was like, if we could just do that with our own feet, if we would just get on our own feet and drive our brain the way that our brain is supposed to be driven, man, we would take care of a lot of our fear and anxiety and worry and misbehavior and all that sort of thing. So I think some of those kids on the autism spectrum might be kids that they just need to get moving. They need their brains to fire in the proper pattern. They need to quit eating garbage crap for all the time. One of them, I asked him, I said, he's having a little passing out spell. And I said, what'd you eat for breakfast? He said, well, I had some cereal. Like, yeah, that's what I had for growing up, right? How many of our kids eat cereal for breakfast? Lucky Charms. I'm going to have Lucky Charms or Frosted Flakes for breakfast. Like, that is ridiculous. I mean, that is really, really bad stuff to be feeding your brain with. We didn't know it in the 80s. Some people did, but not many people. But as we've moved through time, we've gotten to the time now. If you're a parent and you're feeding your kid Lucky Charms for breakfast, you're not trying hard enough. Matter of fact, it's probably a little bit abusive. We got to do a better job with the kids, right? But that's one of them. Autism spectrum was one of them. Reverse curve that has knee problems. One of my ladies, love her to death, severely reverse curve and has knee problems. Really problems. Wanted to know if she needed to go get surgery. I think her sister's having surgery. She doesn't want to have surgery. And so what have we done? We've been working on that curve. We've been working on that brain. And then we've been doing rehab. And Brooke's been doing a fantastic job with her over in the gym and getting her to do squats properly, getting to fire those pathways like they're supposed to. And she's doing really good. Anxiety and depression. I actually got a text, and I actually got a text tonight. I just checked on a guy, new patient last night, and I just sent him a text right before we went on the show. Said, "Hey, how'd you do today?" And he said, "Man, doing great, absolutely great. I really got a good settling peace of mind whenever you were explaining my results." Yeah, he's been going to medical doctors and doing MRIs of his brain and going to psychiatrists and going through all kinds of stuff. And it's like, dude, you're not that bad off. We both know what your problem has been. You're not that bad off. You're going to be fine. here's some things that you can do about it. Here's some exercises you can do. Here's some ways that we can fire your brain. And one day he's having a great day. Will he have some setbacks? Absolutely. He'll have some days that are crazy, and he'll have some days that he gets, overwhelmed and all that stuff. But we just have to build a new pathway with him. We just have to build a new pathway, and he'll do good. Nerve pain people, lots of nerve pain people. One new patient, neck pain, down the arm, numb fingers, pain between the shoulder blade and the spine, right? That's what the complaint was. Young guy, degeneration in his neck, reverse cervical curve, really interesting degeneration in his neck, degeneration in his low back. Way too young to be having that type of degeneration, and having this pain. He's like, my finger, my index and my middle finger and my thumb on my hand are just basically numb right there. And then coming from here all the way from the neck and shoulders, and he's just moving his body. It's just like, man, this is just, it just kills me. And I was like, you betcha. That one right there, I've been dealing with that for 24 years. In March of 2000, I went to work for my brother-in-law. He was a guy that studied a technique called chiropractic biophysics, working on cervical curves, doing decompression of the joint and the disc, doing all that stuff from the very beginning of time. So, but that was one of my guys. Another one, new patient with low back pain, having problems running down the leg. Adjusted a girl today, low back pain with pain running down the back of the leg. That's a different thing. Pain running down your thigh, when it comes across to your thigh, and you're having that pain that comes across to your thigh versus the pain that goes down the back of your leg. Two different issues mostly. Disc on one side, facet jamming on the other side. Disc you got to be careful with. Facet jamming, way better. Way better. The pain's still the same. It still hurts, but it's way better. And I had another guy that came in. We have a decompression table, and I have another guy. I've been taking care of him for several years, but I only see him when he's all jacked up. One of those deals, and he was jacked up this last week, and hips all kicked over to the side. If you're standing in front of a mirror and your hips are really wide, like they're really kicked over, and you're not straight at all, man, that's your body trying to get your nerve off of the disc. That's most likely what you're dealing with right there. If you guys have ever experienced that, where you're standing in front of a mirror and your hips are really kicked off to the side, that posture is called an antalgic posture, and that posture is your brain. It's your innate intelligence putting you into that position. It's not doing that as a mistake. It's doing that on purpose, because it's like, whoa, don't lean into that. If I had something really sharp that was sticking me in my side right here, what would I naturally do? I'd start to move off of it, right? I'd try to get myself off of it. And that's what that position is. That's what that antalgic position is. And most of the time there's a disc bulge going on down there. And so got him adjusted, saw him, I think I've seen him 3 times with this whole thing. He's doing better. Got him adjusted, got him on decompression, got that disc calmed down just a little bit. So doing better there. Injured knee. One of my girls getting out of her truck and slipped on the running board and hyperextended her knee. Treated it for a few weeks and didn't get any better. Went and got an MRI. There's no damage in the knee itself, so we can get a different approach to it than what we have now that we know. And I didn't think it was damaged, but she walks a lot. She said she did 15,000 steps yesterday. She walks a ton, and so we're trying a different way. We're bracing it throughout the day a little bit right now, doing AMIT, doing some adjusting, doing some laser, doing some flossing or voodoo wraps, what we call it. It's just a big thick rubber band type deal, rubber strip, and we wrap it around the knee really tight, and it usually helps a lot. Pregnancy, I already mentioned that. Old age, I already mentioned that. Bad shoulders, migraines. Got 2, 3, off the top of my head, got 3 patients with shoulder replacements and 2 patients with hip replacements. 1 patient has double hip replacements. Um, Justed a lady that I've been taking care of for years and years, who we've been pushing her surgery. She had low back surgery. We've been pushing her low back surgery down the road, down the road. She's 73, I think, years old. She's been skiing, snow skiing up until last year. She's had MRIs and multiple doctor visits, and doctors for the last 5-6 years have told her, do not ski, do not go, do not do any of that. You need surgery, all that. And she's been rocking. She's been moving right along and has done a great up until last year. And then she actually had a fall that had nothing to do with skiing. It was on a trip. She had a fall, and she had another fall at a school that she still works at. And then something happened. It took it further than we could go with it. But she went and had back surgery. I guess it's been 2 weeks ago. Maybe this was the 3rd week. I don't remember exactly when. Let me see, because I can look that up right now, and I can tell you, because you guys would think that's crazy, right? You adjusted a lady that just had back surgery. Friday, March 15th. So is when she had the surgery. So 1, 2, 3 weeks. Today's 3 weeks. So saw her twice this week, actually. So in her 3rd week, she came back and got adjusted. So let's talk about that for a second. She's got rods, and she's got 2 rods and 4 screws in her low back, and she had her back surgery 3 weeks ago. And she came and got adjusted today. Now, why would she do that? First of all, like, I told her, come back when you're ready to get adjusted. And she came back 2 weeks. She set out 2 weeks, and then she came back and she got adjusted. Why would she do that? Does that create any fear in anybody out there? If you're listening to that, and you're like, oh my gosh, she had back surgery with 2 rods and 4 screws 2 weeks ago, and you adjusted her? Yes, I did. Why? Because your brain is controlling your healing. Your brain is in charge of your healing. Your brain is in charge of the way that your body recovers from things. Did we adjust her low back? Absolutely not. Are we ever going to adjust her low back again? Absolutely not. We're not going to adjust her spine anywhere, any shape, fashion, or form over the top of those 2 rods. We're not going to do that ever again. That is now off limits. I'm not going to adjust those rods. But she's got an entire spine above those rods, and she has a brain that is controlling her healing. And so that's what we did. She wears her back brace, and her doctor released her to go walk and do the things she could get. She's not supposed to lift 10 pounds or something like that. And so she's got her little that's a Velcro type thing, back brace. You guys have all seen those little black things that strap around there and pull them tight. She has one of those on. We laid her on the table on her back. I said, can you lay on your back? She said, oh yeah, I could do that. She walked in. She's carrying a cane, and she walked in the building, and she's doing pretty good. And she's like, yeah, I can do that. And so she laid on her back, and I adjusted her upper thoracic spine just a little bit, just very gently. And then I adjusted her neck. And then I used the percussor, and we used some eye movements to work on her eyes, try to fire her brain. And then we did a few things in the gym with her. So just some stuff just to do brain exercises. The laser glasses. We didn't put her on the vibe plate, obviously. Just some easy stuff, but mostly all brain activity. Brain to get her back on track. And we can use the dolphins for her scar treatment. We can use the lasers to help increase ATP and fire up mitochondria and help her in that regard. And then the third thing we could do is, and what she did on her 2nd visit, she wanted to walk. So we got her on the Ultra G. We took probably 30% of her body weight off of her, and we was very controlled, got her on there, got her walking, and she did great. She's a trooper anyway. She was skiing at 72, so snow skiing. So and she's been skiing forever. So she's a really cool lady. Been taking care of her for a long time. But that's the surgery. The other ones, shoulder replacement. One of my ladies today adjusted her. She just had her shoulder replaced. She's back to playing tennis. Her doctor released her. She can't serve overhead. She's got to serve underhand, and she can't go for any balls that are up above her head. But other than that, she's out there and still moving, active, active lady. Got to be in her 70s, I think, maybe late 60s, and doing great. Another one I wrote here is mental issues. So lots of the anxiety, depression, ADD stuff. Lots of that stuff. We're starting to get into the people that are in that think they're getting close to Alzheimer's, think that they're dealing with some Parkinson's. We do a lot of that stuff too. We have some people that come in that just came in strictly to do their nutritional evaluations and their nutritional follow-ups. So they didn't even see me at all. They didn't come to the chiropractic side of the building. They went and saw Kim. They followed up. They either did a nutritional evaluation, which I just talked to you about, where we do the whole picture, or they've already done the whole picture, and now it's 6 or 8 weeks later, we bring them back. We redo some of the tests, make sure they're doing good, see if we need to alter any of their supplements. And we've done that. We said, hey, look, I don't think this person, Kim and I will meet, we'll go over all their stuff. And I'll say, I don't really believe this person needs to, they don't need the whatever supplement that we gave them any longer. Based on as close to an objective test as we can get with the heart sound recorder, right? So we have a pre and a post. We tested them. They're not good. We put them on a nutrition program. They've done a good job with their nutrition program. We came back and post-tested them. Their heart sound recorder is completely different than it was when they started. Hey, you're good to go. It's working. Now, if it's a B vitamin, I don't think that's a bad idea to continue with the B vitamin, right? And the other things that go right along with that are all the other nutrition stuff that we give them, the recipes that we talk about, the fish oil that we do, because we do an omega-6-3 test. We test that and see what your 6-3 ratios are. And if you're low, that helps us dose your fish oil. And then we come back in 6 or 8 weeks and we retest it and do it again and see how's it working. And 100% of the time it works. 100% of the time it works. I haven't had one person that didn't work. Now, it's pretty telling, because if you come in and you're at 23-1 or 28-1, and then you come back 6 weeks later or 8 weeks later and we retest you and you're at 32-1, if you go from 28-1 to 32-1, what it tells me is you're not taking your fish oil. Like, it doesn't lie, right? If you ask somebody, hey, you taking your supplements? Oh, yeah, I'm taking my supplements. You doing your tractioning? Oh, yeah, I'm doing my tractioning. Yep. And then, nope, they're not. They're not doing it because you test it that way. So some people come in just to walk on our Ultra-G, our anti-gravity treadmill. They don't see me. And they'll come in and just do that. And so you don't have to do that. So we've got nutrition, we've got fitness, we've got Ultra-G, we got chiropractic, we got the whole thing, and we got it for everybody out there. So I hope that was enjoyable. It's kind of fun for me. I like talking about this stuff and talking about the people that we get to take care of. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys realize that there's a place for you if you want to get healthier. And maybe I'll remember that story and we'll talk about it on Monday. The thing that the guy didn't think we could help. Maybe I'll try to remember that, and then we'll talk about it on Monday. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Holler if you need us. Otherwise, we'll see you guys Monday at 6.